John, obviously there was unfortunate news this week about Bill Manning. You've worked with Bill. Just your thoughts about his departure.
Yeah, I think everyone was sad to hear the news. For those that have worked with Bill, they know how much he's put into the club, what he's contributed to the legacy. I think to be part of winning a treble, which no other team in MLS has done, is pretty remarkable, and everyone wishes him well for the future. But he will be, his presence will be missed. If anyone knows him, he's a kind, very caring man and cares about his people. So a lot of people care about him, and they'll be there for him in the next few days, I'm sure. But if I know Bill, he's a pretty top operator. He'll be back in football somewhere or sport leading in the future.
Tomorrow's game is a matchup of two teams in desperate need of a win. Your thoughts about the matchup?
Yeah, I think it's a good one for us. Coming off what's been a hell of a run. As I've said, there's games where we've been in, we felt we deserve more in the game. There's games where we haven't been in and didn't deserve anything. So it's been that sort of run. But in many ways, we do feel that it's going to turn at some point. There are a few things that haven't gone our way, and we just know that in this game, you create your luck, and we've created some moments that I'm sure we'll get a bit more luck. And part of this match against Philly, it's a squad that's coming in a very similar situation to us, missing a lot of players. You rock into a place like Columbus, and they've got their top 11 plus their top bench. But Philly they've been suffering as well. So I think when you compare apples with apples, this is a game where, Toronto FC, with the team we'll be able to put out, we should be able to get a win at home. And then that's our commitment, to really push to get that win, to get our season back on track.
Kind of tactical sort of, tactically, what do they offer for you? How do you envision the game playing?
Well, I thought we did well against them in their place. I thought they played with their diamond at home. It's typically a really consistent style. What they'll look for is that direct in behind your wide centre backs. They'll look to get crosses in early. They've got the highest cross ratio in the league. They're a very direct team, very consistent with the pattern underneath. They rely on Wagner to do what he does, which is just got a terrific service into the box, and they're going to crash the box with 3-4 players. So, how we set up last time against them was to sort of nullify the threat behind and then deal with second phase underneath, then defend the box. I thought we were in a much better rhythm in that stage defensively. I mean, we kept a clean sheet in that game. So it's trying to remind the players on, that identity that they were able to bring. So I don't think you'll see a cavalier approach at home. There'll be a more stingy approach for this game, just based on their style. But what I anticipate, Jim will probably shift to a back five. He got some success with that, but in terms of his attacking rhythm, he still holds that shape he has in the diamond with a front two and a attacking mid underneath. That gives him that threat behind and off the front. So I think there'll be the consistency that he'll bring, but he'll be focusing on clean sheets as well, given, I think, his defensive structure.
What's been the mood like post Wednesday? Because it was another disappointing result. It's been almost 2 months since the last win. How are the boys just kind of holding up?
Yeah, it's up and down, John. Like to say that they're not hurt and an understatement, but you have to bring it back to clarity. You know that things will turn, and the more we put attention on things that you are going to take away from the enjoyment, the joy of being here, and the opportunity to go and win football matches by having to focus on the things you have to do on the field. That's what we've been trying to control, just bring them back to, you're still in the playoffs. You're still in the Canadian Championship. The away goal will count. You're coming into a Nations Cup. You are going to have some new signings. There's going to be players coming back from injury. You're going to have your captain back with Richie Larea. Like, it's going to turn. It will turn. And you can see that. Even the game the other night at Forge, it was a competitive match in a tough environment against a tough team. But there's moments there, there's a goal that was clearly onside, not given. There's moments where there's chances that you could have put away, and probably they could have as well. But we keep saying this, our luck's going to turn. The Columbus game, the first goal, did it go off the pitch? Fede says it didn't. The linesman on the other side said it did. I don't know how he can see that. So, regardless, we know something's going to turn for us, but we have to make it turn. And I think in enough games in the last 8, we've been there or thereabouts to get that win. So we believe in each other. We believe in the process, and we're sticking to it.
John, another news off the field is, Greg Berhalter was let go. I know you used to talk to him and have a relationship. I just wonder what your thoughts about that, and also makes me realize that you're one of the few coaches who hasn't been fired.
Not yet. Not yet. But we've got to start winning. That's football. Yeah, I mean, it's something I said to the lads at the beginning of the year. I wish I hadn't. I've always been able to make history wherever we've went as a group of staff. We've always been able to do that, and we've never had a bullet. So, for this one, certainly with Greg Berhalter, Greg's a lovely guy. If anyone knows Greg, he's a meticulous planner. You have tournaments like that. You have games like that. My son plays with his son, so they've built a bit of a relationship. So I think they'll be suffering together at the moment. But he's going to be back in football. He's a top operator, and I feel for him because even when you watch those games and you look at XG differentials, some of the things, it's a bounce of the ball this way or a bounce of the ball that way. And again, even in my tenure, you can go back to certain games, the bounce of the ball this way or that way, and it's a different result. We're great at catastrophizing things, but we know it's a results-based business as well. But I'd just say to everyone, you got to be patient with this team. I mean, we've gone through a thin period on the thinnest squad we've probably ever operated off. Not being able to build consistency. These are all excuses, but they're real. It's real factors. And when you come up against teams like Columbus, for example, who have their top team out, it's not apples with apples. You're going to probably on those days win 1 game in 8 against their top team when you're not carrying your top team. So we've got to keep it real. We will keep it real. Our mission's the same. We'll keep pushing to get this club some silverware this season, and we'll be stronger in about a week or two's time.
Any injuries coming out of the Forge?
Just bumps and scrapes. I mean, obviously, the way the result went, being down at half-time, we had to extend players out on minutes. We had rotational strategies to be able to get players out of the game to keep them fresh for Philly. But we did get some bumps and scrapes. They're just, at the moment, innocuous stuff that are going to keep people off the field for long. People are not going to be able to play for long periods of time. We're going to have to manage minutes due to injury risks, and 1 or 2 that we might just save, for the last 30 minutes of the game, because we've got a game against Miami coming up on Wednesday as well. So, yeah.
Luca's learning curve continues. Another unfortunate goal. Is that just part of a young goalie learning on the job?
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, we ask them to take a high line so we can press high, and then it's just the recognition of the numbers that, they have in the line, whether you can adjust that line or you have to stay high. So, it is a moment. Again, he's getting caught with some things that don't happen very often in career. To be fair to, Barry, he did a hell of a job in taking that goal as well. His vision was brilliant, and yeah, the technique was just sublime. So, yeah, I thought he did a good job. But, yeah, Luca's learning. I mean, he's a young goalkeeper. He's had way more good games for TFC than he's had poor games. And, again, even in that game, he made some wonderful saves. So.
And I wanted to ask you about the choice of Fede as captain. I kind of expected Lorenzo to be, he'd been kind of subbing. Was that just a reward for his play? Or?
Yeah, a bit of everything. I think when you look at what we said to the leadership group at the beginning of the year is that we would rotate the captaincy. So whenever Rosario was away, we would rotate the captaincy, and in some games that were very meaningful to a player, we would rotate the captaincy. So there's been a couple of games we targeted that Ozo was willing to give the armband to somebody else to let them have a moment. So, you know, it's been part of the plan, and obviously Lorenzo's on a rotation at times as well. So, and Fede has been an absolute warrior for the club and the team this year. He just never gives up, and I was proud of him the other night against Forge as well, because he was gassed. He had nothing in the tank. He's gone back to back 90 minutes, you know, against a young sprightly fella who was pretty fresh, who wanted to put him in row Z every time he had him. So, you know, for him just to keep getting up and not getting frustrated, and, you know, having some big moments as well, I thought, again, he's leading the club in the right way.
Are you counting the days for Oso and Rich?
Yeah, I mean, I said to the lads, like, you know, the biggest thing we can do is get this win this weekend, you know, to get these guys set up to come in the right way. We don't want them coming in feeling like, you know, they've got to grab the team by the scruff of the neck. We want to step forward. We've been good enough in enough games without them to get a result. I think everyone knows that. But we know they're going to add a difference, you know, in terms of leadership and mobility, quality, and just Larry. I mean, we've seen him twice this season. You know, it's crazy to think you've seen one of your DPs for 2 games this far in. So he'll be excited. He's in good form with Canada as well. You can see he's enjoying his football again. He's got the fight back. So he's going to bring it here.
You've coached at the Olympics, John. Do you give Jay any sort of advice before he goes off to Paris? What would you say to him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for him. Yeah, I mean, he's reached a dream, and he was in Beijing in 2008 when I was the coach of the Olympic women's team, and we got all the photos of him running around with his Kiwi badges and his New Zealand shirt with Herdman 10 on the back. And yeah, so last night I got a greenstone by one of the Maori elders, and I give that to him as a little good luck thing, and just to be able to hand that on to him and think, yeah, holy shit, my son's going to be an Olympian, and he's 5 foot whatever. His dad was rubbish at football, and yeah, it's a proud moment. I mean, he's a good kid, really good kid, and deserves it.
Just finally for me, John, the transfer window, to our surprise, we found is opened in Canada today. I think we're going to be speaking to Jason hopefully soon, but are you expecting activity soon?
Absolutely. I'll let Jason sort of share that sort of news, but yeah, we're excited. There's a couple of things the front office have been working on for a long time, and you know, we're pretty confident that it's going to be a good start to the window for us. So yeah, I mean, it comes with its pros and cons. I mean, Jay will talk to that, but you know, I think opening early gives you a chance to get someone in early, but it closes early, so you miss the deadline day where a lot of deals get done, and I think that can be a bit of a challenge. So we'll roll with the punches.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, guys.